Right, what's happening, everybody? It's your boy Akeem, and welcome to the Franchise Sports Talk College Football Vlog. We are finally here, week one of the college football season. Things are going to kick off tomorrow, and I've got a couple of key matchups to watch for you to watch this week. You guys already know I'm going to give you guys all of my predictions for week one of the college football season, as well as the upcoming weeks. Now, tomorrow is going to kick things off between two matches to watch at 7 o'clock. South Carolina, the number 19 ranked team in the nation, is going to be traveling to Vanderbilt to face the Commodores. Now, this is going to be an interesting SEC matchup. I have the Commodores actually as my SEC sleeper this year. They have a decent quarterback in Jordan Rodgers, who's coming into his second season in that offense, and he has a good running back behind him in Zach Stacy, just rushed for just under 1,200 yards last season. I think they can make the Gamecocks a run for their money, but I have to go with South Carolina in this matchup, led by quarterback Connor Shaw. He's a good, underrated dual threat quarterback. Now, Stephen Garcia no longer with the team, so that's a chip off Shaw's shoulder, and he has nothing to worry about. This is now his team. He's going to be leading the team in passing, and he has an outstanding running back behind him, and Marcus Lattimore, one of the Heisman Trophy candidates this season in college football, preseason All-American. He's definitely going to get some passes thrown his way and a lot of touches this year. He's a workhorse. He just needs to stay healthy, and I think this team can do just fine. I'm going to have to go with South Carolina, like I said, in this matchup. Because of Marcus Lattimore, they're not looking to start the season off with a loss. At the same night, at 10 o'clock, 10:15 actually, between Washington State traveling to BYU to face the Cougars. Now, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I do like BYU a lot. Last year, they went 10-3. They have a good, disciplined team. They do not have too many sexy stud players overall. They don't have a lot of studs, but they work together as a unit. Obviously, they went 10-3 under coach Bronco Mendenhall. I do like that team, but Washington State, they have a couple of offensive weapons, especially with Marquise Wilson. He was one of the leading receivers in Pac-12 last season, had over 10 touchdowns and just under 1,400 yards receiving. He's definitely going to make all Pac-12 conference this year if he keeps everything up. But they also have the comeback quarterback in Jeff Tuo. Now, 2 seasons ago, he passed for just under 3,000 yards, but he was out last season due to injuries. And they have a new head coach in Mike Leach. So this is from Texas Tech. He was a former head coach of the Texas Tech Raiders, and he's going to be using that spread offense for Washington State. But I think the key for Washington State in this matchup, they're going to have to put the ball in the hands of Ricky Galvin. Give him some touches in this game. He had just over 800 yards overall from the line of scrimmage as a true freshman. And I think with Mike Leach as head coach, he needs to give the ball a little bit more to Galvin. He's a talented running back, and I think he's a good addition for that offense. Now, for BYU, they just need to respect Marquise Wilson, and I think they're going to do just fine. I'm going to have to go with BYU with the home field advantage. Also, they have a decent quarterback in Riley Nelson, 19 touchdowns and 17 interceptions last season, and he earned that starting position over Jake Heaps, who was no longer with the team. So Riley Nelson, this is his team, and he's not looking forward to starting the season off with the loss, and he needs to prove why he's that #1 starting quarterback for the Cougars. I'm going to have to go with BYU all the way in this matchup. Next game to look at, this is going to be a good matchup in Atlanta, a neutral site between SEC Tennessee and North Carolina State out of the ACC Conference. Both of these two teams have great quarterbacks, Tyler Bray from the Tennessee Volunteers and NC State Wolfpack quarterback Sean Glennon. He passed for over 30 touchdowns last season, and he's an outstanding quarterback. And Coach O'Brien of NC State proved why Sean Glennon was that starting quarterback and why he did not worry too much about Russell Wilson, who transferred to Wisconsin. That was a bold, pretty good decision, risky decision for O'Brien, and I think that was a good decision overall. Russell Wilson had a great year for Wisconsin, but actually Sean Glennon had a decent season as well for the Wolfpack, and I think that was a good replacement. Now, between these two teams, this is going to be a good quarterback duel. But for Tennessee, they're going to have to play without Derek Rogers, who failed a drug test. He is no longer with the team, transferred to Tennessee Tech, which means David Emerson's last season's interception leader in the nation with 13. He has nothing to worry about with Derek Rogers, a big wolf off of his shoulders, and he has less to worry about for that secondary of the Wolfpack. So I'm going to have to go with NC State in this matchup because of the loss of Derek Rogers for Tennessee. Next game to look at heading towards Saturday, Notre Dame's going to be playing against Navy at Ireland. This is going to be out of the country matchup, and I think this is going to be a good matchup to watch. Notre Dame arguably has the toughest schedule in college football. I have been saying that weeks after weeks, and I really think they're going to start off this season off with a win over the Navy midshipmen. Next game is to look at 12 o'clock Saturday. Upset alert. Marshall's going to be traveling to West Virginia. West Virginia is a great team. So much talent coming back. Geno Smith, Stedman Bailey, Tavon Austin, yada, yada, yada. I've been saying that over and over again. They have so much talent coming back on the offensive side, but they lack consistency in their wins. Now, last season, as far as many years ago, for over the years, they've been losing against teams that they should win. Last season, they lost to Syracuse and Rutgers. I think both those two teams, they should have beat both of those, won those games with no problems, but not much problems. And I think Marshall can give them a run for their money. Between these two teams, they have been playing good grudge matches, but I think because of that talent, and they're starting off their season off in the Big 12 Conference, I have to go on the Mountaineers of West Virginia. I think they're going to start off big and not come into the Big 12 Conference with a loss, and I actually have them as my Big 12 champion this year. At another game to look at, Ohio's going to be playing at Penn State. Another upset alert. Tyler Tetherton is going to be leading the Bobcats for Ohio, and they're looking to upset Penn State and make their way to a BCS bowl game. Now, they're actually one of my teams for BCS Busters this season. This is the only game that they really have to worry about. If they get back past Penn State, the sky's the limit for them, and the journey is going to be on their hands. They control their own destiny, just like any other team in college football, but seriously for the Ohio Bobcats. Now, Penn State, they suffered a lot of losses. They no longer have Silas Redmond, and plus it was all the off-season, bad season news with Jerry Sandusky case and Joe Paterno ruining his legacy. Penn State's going to now have to rebuild, and I think they're going to rebuild well with an upset over Ohio. So I'm going to have to go with the Nittany Lions all the way over Ohio Bobcats, but this is going to be a great matchup at Beaver Stadium. Next game to look at, another ACC SEC matchup in a neutral site at Atlanta, just like Tennessee and NC State. Auburn's going to be playing against Clemson. Auburn's actually going to be looking towards avenging last season's loss to the Tigers of Clemson. This is going to be a good matchup to watch, but I'm going to have to go with Clemson all the way in this matchup, even without Sammy Watkins, Todd's boy, Andre Ellington, who is an underrated running back, rushed for just over 1,000 yards last season, and I think he's a lot better than that, especially with his speed. I think that Clemson's going to beat Auburn. Auburn has suffered a couple of losses. I don't really have too much faith in Kyle Frazier just stepping up off the plate, off the bat, and leading this team to a victory over a great, talented Clemson team. And they lost Michael Dyer, who transferred to Arkansas State. So Ontario McCollum is going to be that leading target running back, the best weapon for the Auburn Tigers. So I have to go with Clemson in this matchup because they lost. Auburn lost so many players. So I have to go with Clemson in this matchup. Next game to look at, USC, #1 team in the nation, is going to be playing at home against Hawaii. Now this is a game that this team has to prove why that they're the #1 team in the nation. So much great talent coming back. Silas Redd is now with the team, working along with Curtis McNeil. Matt Barkley surprised everybody, including myself, returning this year, looking for a national championship. Marquise Lee, Robert Woods, so many great weapons on offense and good players on the defensive side with McDonald at the safety position. I think USC can definitely crush Hawaii right off the bat, get the starters off the field, get the second and third string players to get onto the field and get some playing time. This should be an easy win for USC over Hawaii. Now, this game is not a big game to look at, but the reason why I have to call this game out, #5 Oregon is going to be playing against Arkansas State. The reason why I have to call out this game is because of quarterback Brian Bennett. He's actually thinking about transferring from this school. Last season, he had 6 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in limited time. He's a great quarterback, and I cannot believe why he is leaving. He's thinking about leaving this team, and he was obviously going to be that starting quarterback for the Ducks. But I just don't understand why would he plan on leaving. This is actually some last-minute news in college football, and I have to break that down to you. Now, Oregon should win this game with Kenyon Barner, Anthony Thomas. They can both make their way to an All-American All-American players, Kenyon Barner as a running back, and DeAnthony Thomas as an all-purpose player and kick returner. Now, they're definitely going to win this matchup, but I'm a little bit concerned about Brian Bennett. He's still in the roster, but he's actually thinking about transfer. I don't understand why, and I'll keep you guys posted with that latest news. But I'm going to go with Oregon, obviously, for this game. On Sunday, this is going to be a good in-state rival between Kentucky and Louisville. Now, they have been playing on first couple of games of the season. Over the years, this is going to be a good rivalry matchup to look at, and I think that Charlie Strong, the coach for the Louisville Cardinals, and Teddy Bridgewater and company, I think they're going to pull off the win over in-state rival Kentucky. At 6:30 on Sunday, SMU is going to be traveling to Baylor. Now, Baylor's going to have to start off with a new quarterback. Heisman Trophy winner RG3 Robert Griffin III is now with the Washington Redskins, which means Nick Florence is now this new starting quarterback for the Baylor Bears. He has very little experience, and this is a bad position for him because Kendall Wright is no longer with the team, and leading rusher Terrence Ganaway, both of these two players, along with Robert Griffin III, are now in the National Football League. So Florence is going to have to start fresh with new players around him. He doesn't have too much experience, so he's going to have to build chemistry right off the bat. Now, I have to go with SMU in this matchup because of running back Zach Line. He rushed for over 1,000 yards in consecutive seasons, and I think he's due for at least 1,300 yards received on rushing this year. I think he's going to run all over the Baylor Bears, who gives up a lot of points on the defensive side. So I'm going to have to go with SMU in this matchup. Next game to look at I believe on Monday. Georgia Tech is going to be playing against number 16 team in the nation, Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech has that triple option. Orson Smith is the player that you guys need to look at for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And all eyes are for Virginia Tech. All eyes is going to be on quarterback Logan Thomas. A lot of people have him as the preseason ACC Player of the Year this upcoming year, an all-conference player. I think he's a great dual-threat quarterback, and I think he's going to lead this team to a victory. I do not think he's going to win the ACC Player of the Year, but I'm actually intrigued to see how well he performs and why so many people have him as the preseason ACC Player of the Year. He's a good quarterback, and I think with a good defense for the Hokies, I think they're going to outplay Georgia Tech. But this is going to be a great matchup. I think Georgia Tech's the key for Georgia Tech. They just need to keep the ball on the ground, march the ball down the field, and do not let Logan Thomas to put the ball on his hands. I think that's going to be the key for Georgia Tech, time possession. But I think Virginia Tech's going to play good, disciplined defense just well enough to stop that run a couple of times, and Logan Thomas will score a couple of touchdowns passing or rushing. Good quarterback. Now, big game of the week. Obviously, number 8 Michigan against number 2 Alabama. This game is not only the game of the week, but my upset game of the week. I promised you guys I was going to give you guys an upset game of the week, and I'm going to go with Michigan over Alabama. I know a lot of people are like, Akeem, you're crazy. There is no way Alabama's going to lose to Michigan. Alabama lost a lot of players, ladies and gentlemen. They lost a lot of key players. Drake Kirkpatrick. They lost Dante Hightower. They lost Trent Richardson, Darius Hanks, Marquise Mays. They lost a lot of key players on the offensive side. Now, yes, this is still Alabama, and they're still going to reload with Eddie Lacy leading the way at the running back position. A.J. McCarron's back. He has a little bit more poise, more comfortable on that offense, and more confident because he's definitely that starting quarterback. Philip Sims is no longer with the team, so A.J. McCarron has nothing to worry about losing his job. He's still a good quarterback, but they just have too many players to replace. Now, we have been seeing this over the years that Alabama has been regrouping and reloading. Nico Johnson, he's now the starting middle linebacker for the Alabama Crimson Tide defense. Now, remember a couple years back, Rolando McClain, when he left, Dante Hightower took over. He did an outstanding job, and I am looking forward to see Nico Johnson becoming an All-American caliber linebacker for the Crimson Tide. But because of all those lost players, I think Denard Robinson can pick a pocket this team and pull off a close upset win. Because of Denard Robinson, this is going to be a big game for the Michigan Wolverines. They came off an 11-win season last season under new head coach Brady Hoke. This is going to be a key matchup for this team. Coming off a big 11-win game, they're looking forward to having good motivation, momentum coming into this season, going into a neutral site in Dallas, Texas. This is going to be a great matchup. I gotta go with Michigan in this matchup. I think Denard Robinson's gonna try to pull up his case already off the bat as the top Heisman Trophy player, because this is just an intense matchup to watch. I'm really looking forward to see how well Denard Robinson plays. If Michigan loses this game, definitely just already scratch off Denard Robinson for the Heisman Trophy presentation as a Heisman Trophy candidate. But if Michigan wins, Denard Robinson will get a lot of talk and boost up his stock right off the bat between him and Matt Barkley for the Heisman Trophy winner. I think Denard Robinson is due for a big game. Mr. Shoelace himself, all dual threat quarterback, he's going to be more disciplined and making better decisions as a pocket passer, but he's definitely going to give you some good yardage on the run. But I think Alabama, they do have an outstanding defense. They still have a lot of great players coming back, even though they lost a lot of their key players, like I said. But I think Denard Robinson's just going to do just well enough to beat Alabama. So I'm going to have to go with Michigan as my upset game of the week over Alabama. This is going to be a great matchup, and I know I'm going to get a couple of responses from you guys saying, Akeem, you're stupid. There's no way Alabama's going to win this game. But like I said, got to give you an upset game of the week, and I'm going to go with Michigan over Alabama. Now, next time I'm going to catch you guys is on Tuesday, where I'll give you a recap of Week 1 of the college football season. And I'll catch you guys then. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Franchise Sports Talk. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.